AI assisted culling is officially here in Lightroom, and spoiler alert, it's awesome. Hey there and welcome to Phlearn. My name is Aaron Nace and today we're showing you a brand new feature that just released in Lightroom Classic for desktop as well as Lightroom for desktop, and it's AI assisted culling. So before we get in, let's talk about culling. Basically, it's the process of choosing your favorite images. We all know we're taking tons and tons of photos on a photo shoot. You got to choose your favorite ones. Now, this AI assisted culling is specifically there to help you with focus. Let's say your subject is out of focus, you probably don't want to use those images. Or maybe your subject's eyes are closed, you might not want to use those. Or maybe you just have an exposure misfire, like it's way too bright or it's way too dark. This AI assisted culling is here to help you with those options, to remove those from the import process or remove those from the editing process so you don't waste time. So in today's video, we're going to show you this brand new feature both during the import process and the culling process. We got a lot to go over. It's so awesome. Let's jump in. So we're starting off with a bunch of sample images. Now I'm going to just click and drag the entire folder here into Lightroom Classic, and it's going to bring up my import dialog. And if you want to download all of these images so you can follow along today's video, it's totally free. Just click on the link right down below. Okay, so I'm here in my import dialog. Now I have my brand new assisted culling right over here. Let's go ahead and click there. And as soon as I do, I have the assisted culling catalog here on my right-hand side, a brand new module, as well as my culling scores. So we're going to go ahead and just check all three of these boxes to start with. Subject focus, there we go. Eye focus, and eyes open. So I'm going to just say, you know what? I want to go ahead and assist with all three of these. And as soon as I do, you're going to see I've got some X's here. Now, I'm going to hover over there and you're going to see subject is in focus. Okay, the eyes are in focus, but the eyes are not open. I have a score of 0 for eyes open. So let's go ahead. I'm going to click on this photo right here, and you're going to see my culling scores on the right-hand side. So it's basically just really easily telling me that, yes, my subject is in focus, the eyes are in focus, but the eyes are closed. Now let's go ahead and click on this other photo right over here, and we're going to see, you know what? The subject is out of focus. The score is set to 43, but the eyes are in focus. The eyes are open, but the subject as a whole is not in focus. Now, if this is a little bit too strict for you, like let's go ahead and double click on this photo, and you're like, you know what? Let's zoom in right over here. Okay. Whoop. And you're like, yeah, I guess maybe the subject is a little bit out of focus, but that's still kind of fine with me. If that's the case, you can actually change your options here to be on how strict you're going to allow this to be. So for instance, I'm hovered over on this photo right now. Okay, you can see my score is set to 43 in terms of my subject out of focus. Now, if I bring this number down here on my left to 40, well, all of a sudden I have a green checkbox and it's going to say, okay, it fits the criteria. So you have full control over the AI culling to decide what images are going to make the cut. So here on the left, we have subject focus, eye focus, and then eyes open. We have options for rejecting photos without people's eyes and rejecting all can't tell images. Now here we can just choose to reject documents and receipts, any misfires or exposure issues. I'm going to go ahead and check that, although I don't have any exposure issues. And I can choose to auto stack these if I'd like. I can auto stack these by capture time. Let's go ahead and click there. And you're going to see, because I had 3 different photo shoots, if I auto stack them, how nice is that? It's just going to put them all in stacks. And then I can just change my timing here to decide how much time needs to pass between each one of these photos. So I have a lot of control. I can even do it based on visual similarity. How similar are these photos? Okay, oh, I grabbed the wrong slider. How similar are these photos? And the more similar they are, or the less similar they are, they're going to stack them differently. All right, I'm going to go ahead and turn those things off. Now, I do want to call attention to the fact we're still in our import dialog. We haven't even brought these into Lightroom Classic just yet. So what would be the point of AI culling in the import dialog? Well, basically at this stage, you're deciding what images are going to go from your memory card onto your computer. And if some of the images, just your subject's eyes are closed, maybe you don't even want to import those onto your computer. So that's what's going on during this import process. So let's show you how to do that so you can make that decision. It's going to save a file size on your computer. If you're going to know off the bat, yeah, any images where my subject's eyes are closed, I don't even want to import those. That's what's going to help during the import process. Okay, so we're still in assisted culling here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say, you know what? I don't care about subject focus. I don't care about eye focus right now. I just want to say eyes open, okay? So what we're going to do is, you can see I have this photo. We'll just go ahead and click on that. Eyes open. Yeah, likely open. My next photo, eyes are likely closed. I'm going to go ahead and find all of these red options here. My eyes are likely closed on this. Let's go ahead and scroll down and see if we see any red X's. There we go. Another one where my eyes are likely closed. So this is going to help me during the import process save file space on my computer. How do we actually put that to work? Well, right here on the very bottom left, we're going to see view. You have your selects, you have your rejects, and you have all. Selects are going to be with this green checkbox. Rejects are going to be with this red X. So I'm going to just click on rejects here. Now, as I do, we've got 4 different images where my subject's eyes are closed. Let's go ahead. I'm going to just take my thumbnail view and I'm going to make these a little bit larger. Now, some of these, like this one, kind of looks like maybe she just did have her eyes closed. But in some of these, it's kind of stylized. Like I kind of like that her eyes are closed on that one. That's a cool image. So what I can do is I can go ahead and check or uncheck any of these images. Now, if I go to uncheck all, again, I'm during my import process. If I go to uncheck all, what that's going to do is it's just not going to import those into my computer. But if I'm like, you know what, I know her eyes are closed in this one, but I still like this one, I'm going to just go ahead and check that, and it's going to be included in my import. So that's how we use assisted culling during the import process. It's all about deciding what's going to get onto the computer. Okay, I'm going to click on all again, and we're going to see, let's just take our thumbnail view and just make this a little bit smaller. And here we're going to see any image that has a check will be imported into our computer. Any image that does not have a check is not going to go onto our computer at all. It's just going to stay on the memory card or hard drive or wherever you're bringing it from. Okay, so this is okay. This one had a red X and I'm not going to import it. This one had a red X, but remember we decided we do want to import that one. This one down here had a red X and we're okay not importing it. And this one had a red X. And you know what? I like that one, so let's include that one too. Okay. Now, in this case, we're going to choose how we'd like to import these. I'm just going to put add because I want them to just stay in the same folder. By the way, I mentioned it already before, but you can download all these sample images so you can test this out for yourself. It's totally free. Just click on the link right down below. So I'm just going to add these, which is going to keep them in the same folder. If you did have raw files, you could copy those or copy them as DNG. But let's go ahead and just click on add. Now, as we do this, we're going to click on import here on the bottom right, and then we have all of our images beautifully in Lightroom Classic. And you're going to notice that some of my images are missing, okay? Those images where my subject's eyes were closed, they just are not imported into Lightroom Classic. So if they're coming from a memory card onto your computer, what that means is they're just going to stay on that memory card. It's not going to take space on your computer, okay? Or on the cloud or anything like that. Fantastic. So now we're here in our library module, and I want to continue my culling process. I want to choose my favorites, things like that. So here we see on the right-hand side, our brand new assisted culling and our culling score. So let's go ahead and open that up. Now we're going to go ahead and choose a few other criteria. So we're going to start here on the very bottom, okay, with stacking. I'd like to stack these images because I've got 3 different photo shoots going on here, and I want this to help me out. So we're going to go to stacking, and I'm going to click here on auto stack. So let's go ahead and click on auto stack, and I want to stack these by capture time. And you know what? That default setting right there did great. I have 3 different photo shoots. It's going to automatically stack by those. I'm going to click right here on stack, and there we go. How awesome is that? Now, when you have any stack in Photoshop, or in Lightroom rather, you can click on this icon, and it's going to unstack all of your images. It's going to open them up. Click right here, and it's going to close them back down. So already I'm really organized, and AI culling helped me to do that. Okay, the next thing we're going to take a look at, let's go ahead and go to subject focus. I'm going to click there. Now for this, let's go ahead and open up our stacks. We're just going to click and open up all of our stacks, and we're going to see, okay, where my subject focus is. And I'm going to be a little bit strict on this one. I'm going to bring this up just a little bit more. And I'm going to say any image where my subject is not in focus, you know what? Like this, for instance, my subject's, not really that, it's not that bad, but maybe not as in focus as I'd like. There we go. These all have red X's on them. So these images where our subject is not in focus, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and set those as rejects, which means they're not going to make the cut. So how do we do that? Well, if I have my subject focus set and I have my green checks for some of these images and my red X's for some of the others, how do I actually organize them? Well, that's right here down on the very bottom, organize results. So let's go ahead and click on batch actions right over here. Fantastic. So it's going to say, what would you like to do with the filter results? Again, all of this is my selected images, the ones with the green check. Okay, I'm going to say, you know, they're going to get a flag rating. They're going to go ahead and get a white flag rating. And anything that's rejected has a red X. That's just going to get a it's going to get a rejected flag rating, basically. So we have a pick and a reject flag. Now, of course, you could do apply a rating 1 through 5. You could do a color label, or you can even add those to a collection. But we're going to just start with this, and it's going to even say 30 photos are selected, 6 photos are rejected. So I'm going to hit OK there. Fantastic. And now let's just deselect. Now I have actually flags on my images that look good, that work, and X's on my images that aren't going to work. So if I go up here to the very top to attribute, I'm here in my library filter, by the way, I can filter by flag. So now I can say, these are all the images I know my subject is in focus in all the images. Or I could click on my reject and I could say, these are all the images where I know my subjects are out of focus. So already it's really helping us out with our culling. So that was just with subject focus, but we're going to get a little bit more strict here. Why not? So we're going to say subject focus, yes. I'm going to also say eye focus, yeah, and be a little bit strict on that. And I'm going to also say eyes open, okay? And we're going to make sure that that is set. And I'm going to go ahead and say any exposures or misfires. We're going to do that as well. Fantastic. So now I've increased the criteria. You know what? Let's go ahead and bring this up. And as you can see, as I take my subject focus and increase the criteria, I'm going to get more and more red X's kind of popping up over here, okay? So it's basically saying, you know, your subject has to be really in focus and my eyes have to be really in focus as well to make the cut. So it's going to go ahead and reject a lot of these, but that's the process we're doing. So I've went ahead and I've changed my criteria for the assisted culling. We're going to go down and again, I'm going to go to organize results and batch actions, okay? And now you can see selected photos is going to be 25, but I have more rejects, okay? There we go, and let's hit okay on that as well. So the photos now, let's just go ahead and click here on our flag rating. Boop. These photos from all 3 photo shoots, I know my subject is really in focus. My eyes are really in focus and my eyes are open. I don't have any exposure issues or misfires. All of these images fit that criteria, okay? If I go to my rejects, we know that these all don't meet some of this criteria. You can still click on any one of those images if you want to and see your culling scores here. So this one was rejected because your subject is out of focus, okay? This one was rejected because their eyes are closed. And you can see, in fact, yes, their eyes are closed. Okay, so this is going to help you make the decision of the images that you actually want to edit, the images you actually want to send to your clients. It just saves you a lot of time. Okay, let's go ahead and just view all of our photos again. Now, one thing that I really like, I'm just going to remove my attributes there. I like the stacking a lot. I really, really like the stacking with all of my images. Now, as of now, if I'm just taking a look at my images, I'm like, okay, how do I know if anything's stacked or not? Well, if you see this at the very top, 1 of 13, that means it's stacked. But sometimes it gets a little bit confusing. So you can actually go here into photo. You can go down to stacking and you can go down to expand or collapse all your stacks. So I'm going to just say collapse all my stacks because I remembered earlier that I did stack these by capture time. So now they're all collapsed again, which is really nice. Here's the cool thing. What I'm going to do here, I have my sample image folder on my computer, right? Like if I right click on this and I say show in Finder, it's right here off the screen, but show in Finder, it actually shows it on my computer, which is really nice. Now, let's say I want to organize these images properly on my computer. What I'm going to do in my sample images folder, check this out. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to right click here. Okay. And I'm going to say create a folder inside sample images. I'm just going to call this 01. All right. We're going to pop that open. I'm going to right click and say create a folder here. We're going to call this 02. I'm going to right click and say create a folder inside. I'm going to call this 03. And now check this out. I'm going to take all of my images from 01 and just put them in their own folder. I'm going to take 02, put those in their own folder, and I'm going to take 03 and put those in their folder. the coolest part about this is check this out now. Again, I'm going to right click. I'm going to say show in Finder. I know it's off screen, so you'll just have to bear with me. But check that out. All my sample images here now are in 01. So I have my entire photo shoot from that in one folder. 02, there we go. These are all my other photo shoot. And then 03, this is my third photo shoot, all in the right folder. And then these other images, remember, these are the ones that we just decided not to import into Lightroom, okay? So if you wanted to, you could just delete those. I'm just gonna take and put them in a different folder for now. Okay, so we have all of these images that are organized, and all of the organization I did here in Lightroom Classic also organized on my computer as well. So this is a really, really powerful technology to help you decide your images that actually make the cut. So now we're gonna go through all of our images and decide what makes the cut. This is our final culling process. So let's start with our sample images here with our first photo shoot. I'm gonna expand out my images. And then, you know what? I don't wanna look at the rejects here. I'm gonna go to attribute and I'm gonna make sure I only look at my flags, okay? So these are the images that are my favorite. Now, I like personally to use star ratings. I like to hit this, which is gonna give it a 5-star rating if I really like it, okay? You can also use color ratings. So you can click on any image here and then go give it a red color if you want, and it's going to give it a color rating. This is up to you. You can also use the numbers 1 through 5 on your keyboard, like 5 will give you a 5-star rating, okay? Hit 5 again, it'll remove it, or you can hit 0, there we go. And then you can also use 6 through 9, and that's gonna give it color ratings. So if I hit the number 6, it's going to be red. Hit the number 6 again, it's not red. Okay, now here's my favorite method. Now that we've removed all the images where our subject's eyes are closed or out of focus, here's my favorite method for continuing to cull. What I like to do personally is I like to hold Shift and click on all of my images here, usually about 2 rows at a time, okay? Then I like to go into Survey View, which is my absolute favorite. You can hit N on your keyboard for Survey View. And then I like to remove my sidebars. So I'm gonna hit Shift Tab, and that's gonna remove my sidebars. Okay, so now what I'm viewing are all of my images that make the cut in Survey View. And the coolest thing about Survey View is when you hover over an image, you're gonna see this little X here, and that just removes it from your Survey View. So I'm gonna click there, and we have a beautiful little animation, and everything looks good. You can also hold Control or Command and click on an image, and it's going to remove it. So this is like such a nice way, you know, where I can just decide which of my images are my favorite from the photo shoot. And I like that one. She looks really, I know her hair's in her face, but I really like her facial expression. There we go. And boom. And I'm like, you know what? These two are my favorite. You might be looking at these and think you would choose totally different. That's okay. Point is, now that I have these two images, I know her hair's in her face, but she's just looking fierce, you know? I'm gonna give it a 5-star rating. So you can go right down here and hit the number, this like little dot, or you can click here and hit the number 5. Okay, now we're gonna go back to our grid view and I'm gonna hit Shift Tab to bring back our sidebars. So now, how quick was that? Of all of my photos, I can now click here in my filter. Remember, I'm in my library filter. I clicked on attribute, we're clicked on our flags, and I'm gonna hit 5 stars, and boom, these are my 5-star images from that photo shoot. Really cool. Now we're gonna do the same thing with our second session. Okay, let's go ahead and expand these. I'm gonna hit Control or Command A to select them all, N for Survey View, and then Shift Tab to remove my sidebars. I'm seeing a few more images here, but this time, you know, it's pretty easy for me to decide what images make the cut. You know, where my subject is looking really good, you know, where their smile is working for them, pose, everything like that. You know, I just want to remove anything that's not gonna like help my subject look their absolute best. And I'm like, you know what? All of these photos look really, really good. Like that one, she's looking fantastic. Nice natural smile there. Maybe this one I'll remove. Cool. Out of all those photos, we're gonna click on here, hit the number 5, and the number 5, and the number 5. So you can see how quick we're moving through our photo shoots. All right, let's go to our third photo shoot and pick our 5 stars. So I'm gonna hit Shift Tab one more time. It's gonna bring back my sidebars. I'm gonna hit G for my grid view. Okay, let's go ahead and remove our rating. And I'm gonna click on my next folder over here. Now let's go back to our attribute. Okay, and I'm just gonna say, show me only the flags. These are the images that make my cut for the assisted culling. I'm gonna hit Control or Command A to select all, N for Survey View, or you can click here for Survey View, Shift Tab to remove them. And I wanna decide, hey, which images, you know, that one, but these two, bang, subject looks great. I need to fix the exposure and maybe some, remove a hair and things like that, but she looks great. Her facial expression, and this one's really good too. So we're gonna hit the number 5 on that one and then click on that and give that the number 5 as well. And hit G for our grid view, then Shift Tab. So I'm gonna go to my sample images folder now. I'm gonna click on attribute, and then I'm gonna click on this 5 stars here. And then these are my 5-star images from 3 different photo shoots. Let's hit Control or Command A, hit N, and then hit Shift Tab. From 3 different photo shoots, I've chosen my best images in very little time. I know my subjects are in focus. I don't even have to check their focus, but I can double click and check. Yeah, she's totally in focus. All good. So I know they're going to be in focus. I know that their eyes are going to be open. I know their eyes are going to be in focus. All that stuff was done automatically. We've organized everything into stacks and then brought it into individual folders and then chosen our best images from each of 3 photo shoots. So we can see just how helpful AI culling is during the import process as well as the culling process to help you choose your favorites. Thanks so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a big thumbs up. Let us know what you think in a comment down below and click on that subscribe button for more free Photoshop and Lightroom tutorials. Thanks again, and I'll Phlearn you later. Bye everyone.